Hello and welcome to Armored Warfare with Gorlon's Army. My name is Ralks and today I will be doing a review of the Tier 8 Italian main battle tank, the Ariete, which is unlocked through the British line. This is the only non-British MBT in the line. And this tank is quite good, an improvement over the Challenger if I do say so myself. Reason being is its gun is very, very competitive. Its damage is 527, which is about average for this tier. But the penetration is 594, which is only beaten by the T90, which has 600 millimeters of penetration. That's not much of a difference. The DPM is 5.2k per minute, so it's It's pretty average for the tier. It's not bad. It's not great. The hit points of the vehicle are also about standard for the tier. You've lost some hit points from the Challenger one because this is an Italian tank and it's not the Challenger. It now has 2.6k hit points, which is still a decent amount. You're not going to notice it too much. And it can be buffed with retrofits. For the max speed, it does do almost 70 kilometers an hour, 0 to 32 in 6.10 seconds, which is very, very quick. This thing is very, very nimble compared to the Challenger. You'll be highly, highly looking forward to that. It's so much fun to rocket around the battlefield after you've been in the Challenger. The camouflage rating is 0.15, which isn't too terrible. It can actually stay semi-invisible while it's moving. That means some of its camo factor is not lost during movement, which is really good. The gun depression is incredibly good at 9 degrees, and the view range is 369 meters, which is the second best of all MBTs in the game, beaten only by the Abrams. The turret traverse is a very healthy 37.33 degrees per second, which is very, very nice over the fairly slow turret of the Challenger one. The reload time is 6 seconds with retrofits, and it's a pretty decent reload time, fast enough to get out there and do the damage you need to. And I like it. The accuracy spread is fairly good at 0.09 degrees, which is very nice. Also, you won't be missing a lot of shots, and you can engage at mid-long range is how I'm going to put it. You're in the middle of a battlefield, but kind of the edge of the middle. It also has a target time of 2.53 seconds, which is not bad at all. Now, once we get into the armor of this tank, we get into the real meat of it. Look at that. It's got 520 millimeters of frontal armor, 471 millimeters of frontal hull armor, 475 millimeters of side armor, so it's got more side armor than frontal armor, which is insane. 585 millimeters of side turret armor, 124 millimeters at the back of the turret, and 52 millimeters at the back of the hull. So, before you get too scared looking at this and wondering how the heck am I supposed to penetrate this thing when its side is tougher than its front? Well, it's not all true. That side armor lies a little bit. It only counts for this part protected by the armor package. If we come here to the upgrades, I can show you that once you take the armor package off, the armor goes down substantially. And so all this PSO applique armor does is it puts these big ol' bricks on the side, and these bricks are actually hollow, I believe. And what they do is they'll block shells from the side. So if you are shooting at the side of an Ariete, you want to shoot over here past these blocks. If you are shooting at the front and they're trying to angle, go ahead and pop a shot right through here, and it will be very, very effective and do full damage. Another weak spot on the front, if you can manage to hit it, is this viewport right here. A very difficult shot to make, but if you can make it, does deal full damage and will kill the driver. So we're going to come over here to the crew of the tank, and right now I am big on the buffs that Freya has. She has really, really good aim speed. It's got better ammo swap, better reload time. She's a phenomenal commander. Now, the other commanders I would recommend on this tank, you of course have Rashid Al-Atassi. If you want to be a little more mobile, he will definitely do it for you. You could use Philip Holtzclau if you would like a little more all-round crew thing. And I can see Juan Carlos also being a fairly effective commander on this tank. For the crew on this tank, I don't have my second ability now, but I will talk about it. The first ability is Spin to Win to increase the mobility of the tank, which is already very good. I have Quick Draw because aim speed is critical in all main battle tanks. That should be your first choice. And for my loader, we have Rapid Fire, because who doesn't want to shoot 2.5% faster? Now, the ammo on the tank is very, very interesting. You see, I carry 3 different types, which is very rare at this tier. At tier 8, I normally don't carry any heat, but why do I carry heat on this tank? And that's mainly because this heat is ridiculously powerful. Look at the penetration, 510 millimeters. That's ridiculous for heat ammunition, so I do carry a bit of this for when I get around the side or rear of another main battle tank. Now, that also deals 645 damage, which is very, very nice. And coming back over to the AP, it does 527 damage with 594 millimeters of penetration. You could probably boost that around to somewhere 610 if you put the advanced MRS on it. And we also carry the HE just in case we run up against another Ariete who knows how to stay front on and not take damage through those weak spots we mentioned earlier. Or any other main battle tanks that we come up against that are very difficult. Challenger 1s, I'm looking at you. Consumables on this tank, I bring the energy drink, which is 5% better for all crew. That's very, very good. That means you aim faster, you reload faster, you turn faster, you see farther. I highly recommend getting the energy drink if you do not want to take a med kit. Spare parts I have because getting tracked is horrible and this stops you from getting tracked. It also increases the amount of saves for other components on the tank, such as viewports, again the tracks, the ammo rack, and so on and so on. Spare parts is highly recommended, and also auto fire extinguisher is my #1 recommended consumable, simply because nobody likes fires and you will die very, very quickly if you are caught on fire. And I also have the high tier field maintenance kit for PvE matches when we get mad at PvP. The retrofits on the tank that I use are Mark III intercom system because that's crew skills by 7.5%. That's an amazing buff to all of your crew. I also have the Mark III augmented breach lock, which I believe you unlock on this tank, which means you reload by about 6% faster and your accuracy is 15% better. That's a huge buff that I highly recommend on your firepower retrofit slot. Now, we also have the internal hull reinforcement Mark III because you want 11.25% more hit points in all your tanks, and it's amazing. For the mobility retrofit slot, I went with the improved filter systems to increase the max speed of this tank so it's even more mobile. And that's about it for the Ariete. It is a very mobile tank, and just as a last note here, if you're trying to shoot here, it probably won't go through unless you're a T90 MS, and even then it's not guaranteed. So, the Ariete in the garage, it's an incredibly powerful mobile tank. Very fun to play in, although it's not quite to my play style. It's not my favorite tank, and I don't play it as often as other people do. But let's get into some gameplay to show you how awesome the Ariete really is. Alright, here we are on Port Storm with the C1 Ariete, one of my favorite maps due to its very flat nature and very corridor-like engagement. It's very nice for main battle tanks. Then you have a really open area for the lighter tanks and tank destroyers to play on. I really do like this map. Apologies in advance for any lag or things you see in this replay. My internet was not behaving the greatest at the time of this recording. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push into the center of the map here. There's 2 ways you can engage. You can engage from the echo line along the top of the bridge and try to get shots down at the sides, or you can come along here in the center and get involved in the fist fight that ensues here. Personally, I prefer to get involved in the fist fight if I have a tank like the Ariete with just ridiculous front armor and solid lower plate, while if I'm in something like the T-Series, I prefer to go up on top of that hill and hide behind one of the trucks so they can't get shots into my lower plate or side. So here we go. We're going to pull in behind these shipping containers, get some cover, and start putting fire in and getting involved in the fist fight that is in the center of the map. So I see that C1 Ariete, and then I see a T90, and I try to get this shot at the T90 MS, but I hit a truck instead. So we pull back for the reload, and you can see that I'm keeping the shipping containers to the left side of the Ariete to protect the front drive wheel and the weaker side armor. I'm also pulling back until I'm almost fully reloaded so that I can just get my shot off and get back in cover. Unfortunately, the Paladin does not want to leave me alone, and so I go to the other side to see if there's anything else I can bully, hoping to get out of artillery range while I do so. So I see the XM1 and decide to bully him for a little bit because eliminating a gun from the game is key, and he's an easy kill that could get side shots and be dangerous and problematic once we start pushing up. So I pull back for the reload, I pull forward again to get shots. The XM1 hides, and I'm trying to feather in a shot on the Leo 2A6 up there, but it's not happening. The front of the Leo 2A6 is very tough, and you can see sometimes there's a tiny little hair of driver's hatch that you can penetrate, but either there's a lot of luck involved in hitting that, or you have an incredibly accurate gun. So here I see the side of a C1 Ariete, and I go ahead and pump a shot right into it. And you can see where the side armor package does not cover. It's at the rear third of the tank. And I just keep on piling shots into this guy's rear third because they deal full damage, and it might catch him on engine due to the engine fire. Catch him on fire due to his engine. There we go. And here we go. We're pulling back, and there's artillery again. He just seems to be my best friend today. And I'm pulling forward again because I've seen the teams were up by quite a few tanks, and it's time to start pushing into the enemy tanks and give them fewer options. We have guys coming around behind that Leo 2A6, and I'm in front of him, so we really can't afford to do anything that's too productive. I aim for the ammo rack at the back, but he's keeping his turret towards me, so I'm aiming for that tiny little driver's hatch. Then I aim for the throat of the tank, which is also weak. The throat being right below the gun, where a gun mantlet would normally be. But if a tank doesn't have one, usually to get more gun depression, it's not there, and you can usually pen it if you have a good penetrating gun. So I aim for the side fire, and it doesn't go through, so I decide to go ahead and go for this T90 MS around the corner. I fire a shot and hit him and kill him, which was very nice. I did not expect that shot to go through, to be honest, but he was pulling back, and so I fired clutch. So here we are. We're going to go ahead and move around these other shipping containers, and we're going to finish off the other C1 Ariete, which has a similar weak spot to the Leo 2A6. It has that driver's hatch that is very, very easy to pen. And you can see how small it was there. A lot of luck involved with that shot, but we got it off. He didn't, and so we're going to push into his friend, the Leopard 2. You can see the scores were 11-8, and we're winning very nicely so far. So we push into the Leopard 2, and with this gun being the second highest penning gun at this tier for main battle tanks, it has no problem just going through the weaker upper hull of the Leopard 2. There's also the driver's hatch you can go for, which I tried to, due to him being very, very smart and pushing up into my gun, so I couldn't get it down low enough to actually hit the weak spot. So our Leopard 2A6 come around the corner, and we pull back to get easier shots. The first one bounces. And as we're reloading, we decide to finish him off and go for the XM8 that is around the corner. And there's the artillery again. Been my friend the whole game. Love you too, Artie. And so we come around, we pump a good one into the XM8 and just charge him down. I was going for a ram, but then realized how little health I had and decided not to do it. So we pump another shot into him, and then we go for the ram when he's on 27 health. Then the wild Draco comes up from behind and just gets the ram out of nowhere. Good for you, Draco. Probably the only time you've ever rammed anything to death. And then it looks like they have 3 things left, a B1 Draco, a Crab, and a Weasel 1. All of which are faster than I am. And normally what you do at this stage in the game, no matter how many MBTs you have on your team, is you'd want to sit in the cap circle and force them to you, so that it's a guaranteed win and they don't actually manage something crazy off. I have seen matches where that happens. And so we're coming up here chasing the tanks foolishly. I want more damage. It's been a great game. So I go ahead and aim for a shot on the Weasel. He dies. Go ahead and aim for a shot on the Crab, and I think he's going to keep going, miss the shot. And it's about here where XSplit actually, there it is, XSplit minimized my gaming screen, unfortunately, and so I tried to move back and forward to avoid death, but the Crab gets me. I will be switching to a different recording software, unfortunately, and that is the game. I will not bore you around with jumping around a whole different ton of tanks, because that's boring, and we're going to go straight to the result screen. Here we are. We did 5,600 damage in that match. Second on the team in a tier 9 game. A very nice result indeed. Top damage. And we earned ourselves a very pretty penny, 168,000 credits, and did very well for ourselves. If you guys like the video, go ahead and give it a like, favorite, leave comments in the description so I know what to add to the channel and what not to. If you guys want to see more content like this, let me know what other tank lines I should review, and I'll see you guys next time.